Welcome to the Chelsea Fans Channel. Ahead of our huge clash, and I say that with sarcasm, against Manchester City this weekend, I'm fortunate enough to be joined by Stephen from Blue Moon Rising. Stephen, the first thing I have to say to you is congratulations and thank you for beating Paris Saint-Germain. How was that?
It felt good, I'm not going to lie. PSG aren't the most holiest of teams. There's a very smug aura about them and their fans, and it felt really good to get past them in the quarters.
Yeah.
And the semi-finals, that's unprecedented territory for us.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie, my head was feeling a bit sore post-game, but it's definitely worth it. So
Good. Do you know, I'm not one of those football fans who likes English teams to do well. Quite to the contrary, to be honest with you. However, I was fully supportive of Manchester City and I was delighted that you knocked them out. So congratulations and well played and all the best going forward in that competition. I just hope you don't win it. Ahead of our game this weekend, Stephen and I have decided to do a combined 11. I am in fear here. I really am. But I've decided to give it a go. Right, so let's get started with our combined 11. Like I say, this one does fill me with fear, but I'm going to fight my corner. I'm going to do as best I can. The obvious place to start is the goalkeeper. If I'm just completely honest with you, I think Joe Hart is a fantastic goalkeeper. I love the passion that he shows. I think that he has brilliant saves in him. I think that he does the simple things well generally, and overall he's a top keeper. So I'm struggling here. How do you feel about Joe Hart?
yeah, I love Joe Hart. I mean, even against PSG when it most mattered, two incredible free kicks, and Cavani went through and he did that Schmeichel thing of spreading himself huge, tipped a shot around the post. He's just that kind of assured nature, and he's a big game player, which is rare for most players in general. So to be someone you can rely on, you've seen it against Messi in the Champions League. Usually he's good in the big games in the Premiership too. And there's something to be said about that kind of homegrown nature and the fact that he fiercely cares, and he's obviously got a massive connection to the fans, and that's a big part of it. I mean, I'm surprised what's happened to Courtois. I mean, where's all this negativity come from with Chelsea and Courtois at the moment?
Yeah, he hasn't covered himself in glory. He's upset a lot of supporters with some of the words that he said. But also, interestingly, it's his performances on the pitch. I think he's a fantastic keeper, I really do. I think that he has all of the attributes of a brilliant keeper. He can be commanding in the air. He's got that brilliant reflex save in him. He has it all. Like, the world really is his oyster. But he seems to not do the simple things well. You know, he was brilliant. When we went away to Paris Saint-Germain, he was brilliant. He was, arguably our man of the match. But then Cavani goes through and slots one past him that he really should have saved, and it's all his hard work's undone.
I got a theory about some players that some are leaders and some are followers in terms of, like Sterling, in my opinion, is a follower. He's a good example of a player that plays best when the team's playing well, as opposed to he's not going to be at his peak if the teams are dip perform. And Hart very much is a leader. And you wonder if Courtois is the kind of player, he's a bit of fair weather. If everything's going great, I don't know, he's so young, it's hard to tell, but if everything's going great, he'll be great. And obviously, he's not had a good season. You wonder if it's got to him because he's not in that kind of right frame of mind.
Yeah, absolutely. But players earn their stripes when the chips are down, don't they?
Exactly.
That's when you want players to step up. And I think it's very difficult. I rate Courtois. I really hope he stays at the club. I think he will be one of the best keepers in the world. But on current form, it's very difficult for me not to concede this one to Joe Hart. But I follow England. I was at the World Cup in 2014 in Brazil, and just Joe Hart's passion and enthusiasm for the game and just determination and drive makes me think that he's a perfect keeper. So, sadly, you're 1-0 up here.
Come on, City.
Right, so where should we go next? Shall we go... I'm trying to think. We'll go left. Let's go left back. Who's your name on the table?
For me, it's Clichy. I don't rate Conrad. I think he's a bit of a chancer. I mean, he's one of those. Once again, he's good at going forward, but when in the big games, doesn't tend to be there. But Clichy against PSG once again, he was a rock. I was worried against Di Maria when he went over that side. I was worried against Lucas Moura when he came on, but he was just all over them, snapping at their heels, full of energy, full of drive. And once again, he seems quite likeable. He's had a good 7-8 games in a row now where he's been in good form, and I don't know if he's going to be a long-term future at left back, but he'll be there next season, in my opinion, because he's homegrown as well, given these links to Arsenal's academy. I think he's good. I like Clichy at the moment. He's definitely part of our top four.
Yes, I think he's a very good player as well. The name I'm going to put on the table is the player that's currently playing there for us is Bubba Rahman. Rahman is good, and I really hope that we persevere with him because he's so young. He really does seem to have all the attributes. He was brilliant in the German league. We signed a very good player. It didn't work out for him early on. It really didn't. But he's 22 years old. It can happen for him. It's just not happening yet.
Yeah.
I suppose on that theory alone, what I've just said there, this has to go to Clichy as well, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, Clichy's got the experience. If we're going to pick a back four now that would do a job against PSG or even against Manchester City, or Chelsea in a big game, I would go for Clichy's nous and experience because he's reliable. He's been there.
Yeah.
I do think there's potential there with Baba, which is a great name, by the way. Yeah. But it's not. And once again, it's tough probably to come to a team that isn't performing well. If it was last season, everyone was flying, then maybe it'd be a different proposition altogether. But at the moment, Clichy tips it for me. Yeah, sorry, guys.
I think you're correct. I could have spun it a different way. I think I could have, if I put Azpilicueta on the table, it would have been a different outcome here. But I've gone no. It has to be Bubba because that's who's been playing there. Right, let's move across the back line. Who is going to be your name on the table for the left side of the centre backs?
Mangala. I love Mangala. City fans give him a hard time at times, but I don't know. Okay, there is questions about his positional intelligence, but he is, once again, he's a big game player for us. He's a warrior. He's really likeable. He's in a really good run of form. He's been better than Otamendi, in my opinion, when the team's playing well. Otamendi's a decent player as well, but I just rate Mangala. I think he's adapting to the Premiership. He's not young as such, 24, but the Premiership's a mugger's alley. It's a very difficult league for defenders to adapt to. It can take a bit of time, and I'm hoping that he stays next season, because if he does, I can see him learning to play football well under Guardiola, and his physical attributes and his pace and his willingness is good. It's really, really good, in fact. So I'm putting him there for that. What do you reckon?
I've listened to everything you say and I'm in dire straits here. I'm feeling very desperate. It's very hard for me because, of course, under normal circumstances, I would be putting John Terry here, and John Terry walks into this team, any combined team for me, and I would fight tooth and nail to make that the case. John Terry isn't fit. John Terry hasn't been playing. So I can't argue with Mangala. I can't put Matt Miazga over. How can I do that? I can't. I have to concede this one, don't I? I rate Matt Miazga. I hope that he plays again. I think that he could be integral to what we're trying to establish and trying to grow at Chelsea.
But in form,
I can't put him over Mangala. I can't. We just lost at Swansea. I can't do it.
And if he was there at Chelsea, he'd be starting as well at the moment. That's my opinion.
No, you're right. You're absolutely right. If Mangala was a Chelsea player, he would be in the Chelsea team at the moment. Therefore, okay, this is going well. I'm really going to have to have a clean sweep as we move further up the pitch. Right, okay. Who's the partner? Who's the central defensive partner? Yeah, Company. Go on, argue against that one. He's back at the weekend. I'd love to see a convincing argument against Vincent. I'm gonna put Branislav Ivanovic on the table for you to consider, and hope that you do. He just made, if this means anything to you, he just made Graham Souness's team of the year, which surprised a lot of Chelsea fans as well. Ivanovic has been a fantastic servant for us and a man I love with all my heart. He's sat on a crossbar when we won a European Cup final. He really is a hero of mine. But I suppose it's fair to say that he was the worst player in the Premier League for 3 months. And on current form, he hasn't been doing too badly, but there is no doubt in my mind that Vincent Kompany is a colossus of a player. I think he's impenetrable on his day, and I've just gone 4-0 down. This is not good. Right back. Who are you putting on the table?
It's Sanya. I mean, for years I would have said Pavel Zabaleta, and that would have been the obvious choice, but he's had a very Ivanovic kind of season, actually. There was a moment where it just seemed that he'd lost his legs. He looked slow all of a sudden. He's still got the effort and the determination, the work rate and so on, but it's really sad to see. It reminds me of when Gary Neville against West Brom realised his legs had gone and he just didn't look quite as sharp anymore. He's still fine against lesser teams, but he isn't the player he once was, and Sanya has become this rock for us. He's solid defensively, he's reliable, he's really strong. He's quite a bit of a leader as well, actually, in terms of experience. But he's stepped up this year, and he's our first choice right back, and rightly so.
Right, here's where I'm coming into. I'm going to be on the board here. Cesar Azpilicueta. Azpilicueta is an incredible talent. He fights tooth and nail. His determination is unparalleled in our team at the moment. Jose Mourinho said if he had 11 Azpilicuetas, he would win the Champions League. I
mean, for me, it's Sanya because he's just done it in the Champions League. He's currently playing the team occupying the Champions League slot. He's won Carling Cup this season. I'm choosing Sanya because I love the back. He's a great guy.
Okay, you've hit me with stats. And I can't argue against the facts. Okay, so it's a clean sweep from Manchester City at the back, which is painful. But
It's
the
great.
night is young. The night is young, and I'm going to play my trump card right away. Cesc Fabregas, have some of that.
I'd like some of that, I'll be honest. But Cesc or Yaya, I'd probably say Cesc. Annoyingly, I mean,
Thank you, Stephen.
You can have one. Go on.
Thank
I'm
you.
feeling charitable. I still love Yaya. He's still Colossus, but if he's going to be playing in predominantly a team on midfield, which I think this is the way the formation is going, because City and Chelsea line up in a similar way, I probably would choose Cesc. I mean, he's got obviously incredible talent. He can do a lot, basically all the things Yaya can do. But I think he's more suitable to a 90-minute team in a balanced formation than the Yaya is at the moment.
I think that Cesc Fabregas' brilliance is that he can execute a pass that other players can't even see. And for that reason alone, whether he's on form or not, he needs to be in a team, any team, because he can see things he can play things that other people can't even do or see.
Yeah.
So therefore, for that reason alone, Cesc Fabregas is in this combined 11, and I am on the board. Excellent news.
You're on the comeback trail.
Yes, right. Game on. Who's partnering him for you?
Well, this is it for me. I mean, if Cesc there, it's an easy one for me for Fernandinho. Fernandinho can play alongside anyone and look good because he's that water carrier. He's the legs, he's the energy. He's got great technical ability. He's got tactical discipline. He's intelligent and he's consistent. He's at very least a 7.5 out of 10 player every week. At very least, you just don't see him have a bad game, and I think he's better than Mikel. I think he's just a class player, massively underappreciated. Every team's got a player that another club doesn't appreciate in terms of because you don't see him week in, week out. And Fernandinho is that guy for us because I've got a lot of love for that man.
And you're right, for us it's John Obi Mikel, who I love and I often give my support to on this channel and sometimes get a lot of grief for it, but I can't argue with your suggestion and my victory was briefly lived. I can see that one to you as well. This is not going very well. And I can't see it going any better when I go to left wing.
I'm going to put David Silva there. I'm going to put him because he's David Silva. And even if he's not at his very, very best, he's still better than most. And there's encouraging signs of late that he's starting to find a bit of form. Obviously, De Bruyne's come back and we're playing with a balanced formation. And he's my choice there because, as I said, he's David Silva. And I think he's going to I think he'll have a bit of a resurrection next season with the Guardiola as well. I think he'll find a team that's going to play to his strengths. But I'm choosing him. That's where I'm going.
Yeah, everything that I just said about Cesc Fabregas, I think you could reiterate for David Silva.
Exactly, yeah.
And therefore, I would be a hypocrite if I were to argue with you on that front. I think David Silva is a magician, and I think that he firmly deserves a place in this team. Excellent news. Okay, moving across to play behind the front man.
The best number 10 in the league at the moment is Kevin De Bruyne. He's playing in his peak position. He's obviously an ex-Chelsea man, underused ex-Chelsea man, but he's just incredible. I know he's swollen, that's how good he is. He's just such a good player. I think he's averaging a goal assist every 95 minutes for us, which is in his debut season, and he's still got more assists than anyone on our team, and he's missed about 2 months of the season. He's just absolutely incredible. He's a big game player. You saw what he did against PSG. If there's one person you want stepping up from 20 yards out with a shot at the edge of the area, it's De Bruyne, because he's going to find the bottom corner. And I love him. I just love every single hair on his ginger head. He's that good a player, and he's going to be insanely good next season as well.
This is a player who is supremely talented. It's going to be very interesting to see how he performs for Belgium in the highest level. But I think that he has it all going on. I think he's a really, really good player, and he's a player that we could certainly still do with being a Chelsea man. It didn't work out for him at Chelsea. When we got £18 million for him, we were happy. He'd only played 3 games for us. We were really pleased. I thought it was a good deal. But somebody at Chelsea deserves to be culpable here because we have let a starlet leave the club for less than £20 million. It's insane. We got caught up in that world of FFP where we were selling supremely talented football players, and it made absolutely no sense. Really, really sad. And to see him doing well at City, I certainly bear the guy no ill will. I wish him well, but it's obviously a knife to the heart to think that he could be doing it in a Chelsea shirt.
Definitely, he's more than capable. I mean, I don't necessarily blame him for selling him either. It doesn't always become apparent that a player's going to be what they are until
yeah,
they
absolutely.
are.
Because we sold him, we did. Yeah. Absolutely, we sold him and we won the league, and nobody was worrying then about what De Bruyne was up to in Wolfsburg. But obviously, it's come back to bite us on the Harris. Right.
Hindsight's a beautiful thing, isn't it?
It certainly is. Okay, I've got another good. I'm in a good moment now. It hasn't been. I haven't been living the dream up until this point, but this is my second trump card. Willian.
What, over Navas? I can't argue that. Willian's great, a brilliant player. He's very likeable as well.
Yeah.
And loads of energy, immense amounts of skill, and his set pieces as well. Everything. Yeah. He's such a good player. I would take Willian in a heartbeat.
It's his work rate as well that's incredible, Stephen. He really does try so hard.
I remember actually at Shakhtar as well. He played alongside Fernandinho, and he was brilliant there as well. So I've always liked Willian. I remember him watching play in that kind of glorious Shakhtar team a few years ago, where they played incredibly attacking football with loads of pace and aggression and skill, and I've always liked him. And I was gutty when he went to Chelsea, and he seems to be your best player this season. So. Do
you know what, Stephen? He had our Player of the Year award wrapped up in about mid-November.
Yeah.
He really did have it in the bag.
We've not even mentioned Hazard, which shows how much his star's fallen. What is that about?
I know, it's really, really sad state of affairs. I hope that it can be resurrected, his career. I really hope that Conte can come in and help him galvanise and become the man that we know he can. But I won't be holding my breath on that front. But fingers crossed.
Do you think he's going to go in the summer then?
Oh, I think it's almost a done deal, yeah. If he can find a suitor, I think that's going to be the crucial thing. He's not covered himself in glory this year. The PSG, of course, they've been sniffing around him for years. But why would you sell a player who hasn't scored a goal all season? The dream for me is that Conte can come in and help him rediscover his former brilliant self.
Yeah, well, he's the kind of player that's worth the patience, at least. I mean, you want, as you said earlier, you want your players to be at their best when the chips are down, and it's not good.
Oh yeah, he's not one for that. He's
not.
Certainly not one for that.
But which doesn't hint at maybe the best of attitudes. But he is worth the patience because he is an incredibly good player. He's a magician on his day, and there's not many like him in the Premier League. And if you turn it on, he could be a big part of next season for you.
Definitely.
But this season, unfortunately, not.
Do you know what? I'm just thinking about the debate that we're about to have. Now, this is going to be a tight one. Sergio Aguero versus Diego Costa. I will let you make your pitch first.
I think, Sergio Aguero is statistically the most clinical striker in Premier League history, which is going to take some...
Game, set and match there.
Yeah, exactly. Sergio is... he's had a lot of interest this season, but his goal ratio per game minute is still the best in the league this season as well. He's just absolutely brilliant. He's the kind of guy who will score a goal out of nowhere, and he's done it against Chelsea. I remember that the shot from the inside left channel past Czech at his near post. Was Czech or Courtois? I can't remember, but it was a rocket. And we've seen some City fans or United fans, comment on our videos saying, "Oh, he's a fraud. He's not a big game player," which is absolutely nonsense. He scored the most in the derbies. He scored a hat-trick away at Bayern. He scored against Barca. He's got 16 and 17 Champions League starts or something like that. He's a phenomenal player who's just been blighted by injuries. And if he wasn't injured all the time, he'd be 40 goals a season, no competitions. I think he's that good.
I'm inclined to agree with you. I think he is a marvellous football player, and he's probably the only centre-forward in the league currently plying his trade who I would have above Diego Costa. I love Costa. I pray that we keep hold of him, but I concede that Sergio Aguero is more prolific. And the thing that I love about Aguero, it's the variety of goal that he has it in him to score. He can score with his head, he can score from outside the area, he can dribble in and shoot with both feet. Yeah, he can score with one touch, he can score a poacher's goal, he can score a long-range pinger. He really does have the minerals to score all kinds of goals. And before your pitch, I kind of knew how this one was going to go, but it was a supreme pitch. So I congratulate you for that. And
did my research.
So we're finished. And what's that? That's two Chelsea players. You're a guest on the Blooming Rising. You're a guest on the Chelsea Fans Channel, and they've come in and completely taken over.
I'm going to get slaughtered in the comments, aren't I?
Far from it. I imagine generally the people who comment on our videos, aside from the odd Arsenal fan, generally. I'm going to do that again. I don't want to say that. Sorry. I'm going to get caned on the comments. Probably not. I generally think that most people who comment on these videos are bright enough to see that Manchester City are in a far better place and will respect your excellent pitch. I think that you've done really well, and I hang my head in shame that I've got 2 Chelsea players in a combined 11 with Manchester City.
Well, so, that's your season, isn't it, in a nutshell, really. There's not much you can do about it. I mean, I'm sure if you were in the form you were, or even 50% of the form you were in last year, this would be a completely balanced 11. You know,
I'll be back for you next year. We'll do this one again.
I look forward to it.
Brilliant. Stephen, that's Stephen from Blooming Rising. Thank you so much for joining us. Guys, make sure that you check out their channel. The link is in the description below. They really are fantastic. Stephen's a good friend of mine. They do some excellent stuff. So make sure that you go and subscribe to their channel right now. Also, comment below. Do you think I should have done better, or do you think we got it about spot on? 2 Chelsea players in a combined 11. Not ideal, is it? Go on, you Blues. Welcome to the Chelsea Fans Channel. I am delighted to welcome Marco from Italian Football TV onto the channel for his debut. Marco has followed the career of Antonio Conte really closely, so I thought it would be great if we could have a chat with him and find out his thoughts on what the future could hold for Chelsea Football Club. Marco, lovely to welcome you on.